And on today's show, we will be doing a little bit of a New Year's special in a way, but just us two this year. I think last year we had all of us on here, but this year we're just going to be talking about our future plans, reflecting on 2023, and then what we have in store for next year as well. And before we get started, I'm going to do a little icebreaker question. And although it's winter, my question is, what is your favorite season and why? What's the most like upbringing thing about that season?
That's a very good question. I like the rainy season. So is that winter? Winter,
I
spring?
feel like that's winter, fall.
Winter, fall would be my favorite. I just enjoy the weather, like the not too hot type of weather. And if it's cold, I like to layer, and I have more flexibility with that. So I really enjoy that type of weather. What about you?
I'd say the same, just not rainy. I like rainy weather, but I hate like going out sometimes in the rainy weather because then I get so wet. There's been times where I like need to go somewhere and I'm like running to my car or something, and then I'm just like wet.
Okay.
And I just don't like that feeling because then it's like if I'm going home and I get wet, then it's totally fine. But like if I'm going somewhere, I'm like, oh. And then my hair like right now is like really frizzy, but like normally like if it gets like really wet it's just like when it's raining, it gets like really frizzy. So
Okay.
that's like the one thing I don't like.
I see what you mean.
But I love the cold weather, and as you said, I like layering up rather than you can't really take off everything if you're hot.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, we're gonna now dive into our new topic, and my first question is, how has 2023 treated you?
That's a very good question. I didn't think about the questions we're gonna ask because I was like, I want to see what comes in my head during the show. It's been a very interesting year. I think there was a lot of change in my circle, I mean, like the people who I'm around with, a lot of change in the work that I do, and it's really been an up and down situation. And I think every year it's like that. But this year I feel like emotionally it hit me really, really hard. Like it was like this. And I learned a lot about myself. So 2023 treated me very, very well. I learned a lot in the emotion side. Definitely. Yeah, that's for me. That's really what happened. What about you?
I'd say kind of similar. I feel like I was able to kind of show like myself more and grow a passion into what I'm doing because of one of my jobs. Like I see like how my life would be like as like a nurse, since I work in a nursing facility. So it kind of makes me grow that passion and compassion for those that are in those situations and that have to be in nursing homes and stuff like that. So that's helped me. And then I feel like I've grown as a person a lot I feel like I've had a lot of change, especially since like I'm 18 and I moved out and I live on my own now. So for me, that's a huge change. And I think that would be a huge change for anyone. And I feel like it also this year has just shown me a lot that I'm really like in control with my emotions, and I'm really like able to take care of my emotions, and like I've shown myself I'm able to take care of myself, and as long as I put my priorities straight and everything, then I can do it, and like anyone can do it.
I agree. I was going to mention that you've had a big change from moving out to living on your own. And that's a huge step.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal because I would say you're really becoming independent because, living on your own is a whole new thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
How'd you feel about that? Were you excited, nervous?
nervous because both, because at first I didn't know if like I can really do it just because I'm like but I live with roommates, so it's like a little like different. And it's like the one thing is like, okay, my rent really, and like utilities and all that stuff, and like all of us individually like do the utilities like on our own, and then we just like send each other money. And then so that's like pretty easy wise, like, because it's not like too much of a change, just because when I was living with my mom, like, I was already paying rent, so then that dynamic didn't really change. Just the pricing changed. That was the only thing. The pricing changed. But I feel like it just gives you, like, when you go off to college, I guess. I mean, I've never gone off to college, but like that. But I feel like it feels like you just have that sense of freedom in a way. And I feel like I have a lot more time to kind of focus on school more, just because I had a big family. So, like, doing homework and stuff at home was never a thing for me. I could never do homework at home at all. And, like, now I have, like, a pretty big desk, and I'm always, like, able to do homework there and, like, have, like, peace and quiet and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really proud of you for that. I know it's a big change, and I haven't even made that jump yet. So the fact that you did it, like, when you told me, I was so happy and proud. At the same time, very excited for you, because living on your own independently, it takes a lot of self-discipline, meaning like you have to be on top of your. I also pay rent, like living with my family, I pay rent, my brother pays rent, but moving out, like you said, that's a huge jump, especially in Marin County. They don't have anything very, very cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
So that is something that a lot of people don't really take into the fact that 23 and you gave yourself that challenge says a lot about who you are as well.
Yeah. And I feel like now I have kind of my routine down in a way. So, like, I know how to do things. And I've actually kind of have been teaching myself how to cook, because that's the one thing is, like, I have to feed myself. And sometimes I, like, don't know what to eat, or I'm like, I don't know what to make. And it's like, at one point I was, like, kind of just eating out all the time, and I'm like, that's not healthy. And I was just buying fast food. So, but now I've, like, taught myself how to make a few things. So then I usually just, like, switch off on, like, whatever I know how to make. Yeah, that's, like, I feel like that's the one big thing, is just, like, making food for myself. Because then I get lazy, because it's like, oh, my mom used to make it, and she would just be like, oh, la comida está listo. And then I'd be like, okay, and then I'd go eat. So yeah,
that's awesome. You're learning how to cook.
I'm trying. It's a work in progress. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Well, you kind of asked the question that I had.
Oh, really?
Like, what are the first thoughts that come to mind about the past year?
I mean, let's see. You wrote positive, negative, neutral.
Well, let's make this interesting. What's a word that you would use, or two words that you would use to describe your year?
Shifting.
Okay.
And understanding.
I like that. Okay.
And you?
I would say acceptance and happiness.
That's
definitely.
What are the main things from this year that bring those words out?
I think I always have a hard time keeping friendships because I live a very different, like, I'm 22 years old, but some of the things that I do normally and considered in the world, it's not something that a 22-year-old would be doing.
Like what?
Like helping my family manage different type of businesses, the work that I'm doing here. Usually people have this after they graduate from college. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I tell people what I'm doing, they'll ask me, like, you're doing that, but you're like 22. You know? And so sometimes that's really hard for my outside friendships to understand the work that I do. And so, for example, time, like, I sometimes don't have time to hang out, or like I don't go to parties as much, or it's not my energy because I have other things in my mind. And nothing wrong with my my friends. It's just something that I don't connect with because I'm like in a different path. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that has caused me to really have a hard time to keep friends, because then sometimes I don't communicate very well. Like I'm busy and the other person is off or doesn't have time off, or opposite schedules. And so that causes like a break in a friendship, because you constantly need to maintain friendships. You know what I mean? Like checking in and stuff. But I've been really bad at that, and so I feel like I've had a hard time. But I care about my friends. That's one. The other thing is I can have really, really good friends that I appreciate them so much, but again, the path kind of just takes us apart, and me letting go is really hard. It's something that I've struggled with a lot. And it's like having something and saying, you have to let it go because you need to grow and that person needs to grow. And it's not because you hate each other. It's just that you guys are on completely different paths, and it's okay. And so I have to constantly remind myself that friendships are never a permanent thing. It's always friends can be seasonal. Friends can come in different areas. So for example, this year, like I had a big friendship change, and I kind of let out a lot of people in my life, not in a bad way, like I hate you type of stuff. It's just saying, me really talking to myself and saying, hey, maybe this is just, you guys are on completely different roads. So accepting that it's not that we don't like each other. It's just it's best in this way for each one to grow. And if one day we'll come back and intertwine, that's great, you know, but it's just we're both in different areas. So that's acceptance. Happiness kind of goes into there, because there was one time I had a friendship where I was having anxiety. I think it's anxiety because of just how we weren't communicating anymore. And it was just really, really hard to work with. Like, how do you... I just felt like I couldn't be myself anymore, because that person couldn't see what I was doing, or couldn't see me. And so I had to choose my happiness. And not in a horrible way. Like, it was just me really listening to myself. It's like, what do you want? Like, don't think about others, because that's something I do, is like I think about other people. And it's more of like, what do you want to do? And because if you know what you want, then you don't hurt yourself and the people around you. And so I've had to learn, like, what do I want? What does Santi want? You know? So that was happiness, or understanding would be a better word probably to describe that. What about you?
Wait, I kind of wanted to add on, or like not add
go
on,
ahead.
but say what you were talking about with friendship. With like friendships like that, that's like happened to me too, where it's like you outgrow them. And you said
I wasn't gonna use.
oh wait, no, sorry.
no. But
I didn't even mean outgrow, but like you guys outgrow each other is what I meant. That's what I meant. And you said like you and your friends you necessarily wouldn't communicate as much. Is that what it was? Like you wouldn't keep in touch, or like you wouldn't hang out as much and frequent?
Yeah, but it's not like I don't like to hang out with you. It's like you
don't have time.
Yeah, you have like so many things, and you just realize like a whole month went by. And maybe it's just part of growing up too. That I feel like many might agree with me. Like, I have to schedule an appointment to hang out with people.
I always see memes like that. It's like you got to schedule an appointment.
Yeah, and so I feel like that does break sometimes friendships, because when you sit down with the other person, just picture this. They have a whole world going on, and then you come in and it's like the world that you remember them in, they're not in that world anymore. And so it might be really hard to click or to like bond in certain stuff, because you're completely disconnected. And then there are other friendships which are very rare, where it doesn't matter what world you guys are in, but you can always connect, you know? So, but I've always had a lot of the other world, where it's like they leave, they do their own thing, we come back, and it's hard to connect.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I was like that happens a lot. Like one of my best friend, her and I, like typically we don't talk. We have like that friendship where it's like we know we're friends, but it's like we don't like really text or anything. We only text if like we want to like just say something. But like I don't see her that often, like once a month. But like we've been best friends for like 5 years now. Like really, or like we kind of recently started being best friends, but like we've been friends for 5 years and we've been hanging out. But our relationship has always been like we just don't text each other, and like we just talk about everything once we see each other. So I was just wondering if it was like that, or like, because I know like every friendship's like different, but for me I've realized that that's like how my friendships are like. And it's always like with you, like I don't like text you, but like whenever I see you I talk to you, and it's like that bond is still there. It's not like going anywhere. But maybe that's just like how I'm like, because like with all my friendships it's like that.
It could be. And also I think also the people that I've had kind of went in a different route, and it was me like you're totally fine to go that route, but I don't want to go there.
Oh, okay.
And when people try to take you that route and you don't want to go that route, that's where you have to make a choice.
Yeah, that's true.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've had to let go of those friendships, and then there was a lot of me realizing my friends who actually show up. You know, people that I don't talk to them for a month or weeks, and then we can sit down and we're like laughing, and it doesn't matter what we're doing, but we can be friends. So I've had to accept who I've had to let go, and who I can actually continue to build a friendship with. And that's something that we often don't, at least for my case, we often don't do. And it's we as humans want to be accepted. We want to be loved. And so you thinking, you know, one thing, oh, if I do this, that person's not going to accept me. But in reality, it's if they don't accept you, it's okay. You guys can go your own routes. No hate. None. It's just pure love.
And someone else will accept you.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. I've had to really accept that and understand that. And then also, like, I got so many new friendships this year. For me, like, I gained so many new friends who we've had on the show, actually. And it's been such a privilege. And that's when you see, like, oh my God, there's people that are supportive and understand you. And so that's what I'm saying. Acceptance has been a big thing for me in 2023.
I feel like for me, one thing that I didn't do in 2023 that maybe that I should do in 2024 is be open to new friendships. Because all of 2023, I haven't made one single new friendship. I've always had the same friendships. And it's like, I feel like at times I'm just like socially awkward. And it's like, I just don't know why I am. Like, I'm good at making conversations and like talking to people, but I'm not good at like keeping that bond with someone. So I feel like that's something that I need to improve on for 2024, and like try to like if I like how the person is, we have like similar like aspects and everything, then maybe I should try to reach out more and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's a new goal.
Yeah. Oh, and then for me, for shifting, and for my 2 words, for shifting is obviously just because I've had like a big shift in my life. And then I said understanding. For understanding, I said understanding because a lot of people in my life have like either hurt me and stuff like that. And I've had this year to realize that I need to, in a way, understand them and I guess forgive them and not like hold a grudge to them or anything. And I feel like I had that grudge for certain people, and I learned to let it go and just understand that whatever, I don't know what they're going through, what they've been through, and just to know to let it go, because I don't know what they're going through. So it might affect the way that they had treated me and stuff. So just not hold anything against anyone is I feel like I've always like tried to like not be that way, but then I would end up like having that sense of like I don't like them, or like that sense of hate. But like now I've learned to just like let it be, and it's like they're not in my life for a reason, and that's okay, and just move forward. And if later on we reconnect and whatever, then that's what it is. Yeah.
So we kind of have similar things.
A little similar.
Now that I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask another question? I feel like it's related kind of to what we're talking about now. What is there one person that you have had a bond with in the past, like not necessarily 2023, but like in the past, that you want to reach out to before the year ends?
Ooh, that's a great question. Someone like a friendship or
anything,
member?
anyone.
Let me see. I'm gonna say I'll do one family and then one friend.
Okay.
I'm gonna say my grandma. My grandma from my mom's side. I have my grandma from my dad's side who lives here, but I feel like this year I've gotten so used to my grandma like comes to visit and stays here for like 5 months and stuff. But she chose not to come this year, and that really broke my heart because I get so excited. But as a granddaughter, like I have a phone, I can call her. But I don't know, just like the day goes by and I haven't called her as often as I should, knowing that, hey, my grandma's getting older and you never know. So I have that actually in mind, and calling her and reaching out to her and saying, how is she and stuff. And because that would be someone. And then a friend. Who's a friend? Who's a friend?
Could be from years ago when you were a baby.
A baby.
Whoever.
I have this one. Actually, I don't know.
You don't know.
What about you? Let me think about it. But what about you?
I brought this question up because I actually did reach out to someone.
Oh, really?
That's why, yeah. I guess like childhood best friend in a way. She was my best friend for many years. We stopped being friends in high school, and it was kind of just like we just kind of stopped being friends. Like we stopped hanging out, and that was kind of it. Like there was like no necessarily bad ending. And I've like always like we just completely stopped talking, but we still follow each other on like social media. But and then I always think about her, and it's like she was such a good friend to me, and like we had like a bunch of like I have a lot of memorable moments with her that like I will continue to have forever. And out of like nowhere, I've like recently just been like thinking of her, and I'm like, I wonder what she's doing. And I see her Instagram, and it seems like she's not necessarily like here in the US. And I'm like, and I just kept wondering, and I asked my other friend, like, should I reach out? Like, I don't know. Like, what if like I was just like nervous to reach out just because like what if like she doesn't want to like talk to me or something? Because I'm like, on my end, I think we ended good. But then I did reach out to her. And I just asked her like how she's doing, and we haven't talked for I think like 2 years or 3 years, so it's been like a while. So I just asked her what she's been up to, and then I found out that she thought we ended on bad notes, and I was so shocked. And she said that I felt so bad because she said that she thought she was a bad friend to me, and I was like, what? I felt so shocked, and I told her like she was like one of the best friends I've ever had, and like a person that would like forever be in my heart and everything. And it was just like shocking to me to what she was telling me. And then we just kind of catched up through text and everything, but she's not here currently. She decided to take a gap year, so she's not in the US. So yeah, but I'm really glad I got to talk to her, and we kind of like I didn't know that there was that like what is it called? Like, I didn't know she felt that way on the way we ended, because I just had thought like, oh, we just stopped talking and everything like that. But yeah, and then hopefully when she comes back, we would be able to hang out in something. Because I would love to have a bond with her again in that way. But yeah.
And that's a good note when we're talking about 2023 and 2024. It's looking back at friendships, family that you want to reach out to. And just, I know it's the end of the year, and I feel like you could reach out to anyone at any time, but it's usually a time where we're talking about goals and what we want to do, and reflection. To anyone who's listening out there, like really ask yourself that question. Who is someone that I would love to reach out to, that I've been thinking about? You never know if you reaching out to that person can brighten their day, or a lot of things happen like that where I thought we were in good terms.
Yeah.
No, we were in bad terms.
Yeah.
And then you guys can rebond in a way where if we see each other in the streets, it's peace.
Yeah.
Right. So I like that. It's a good thing to have.
Did you think of a friend?
No. No, I didn't think of a friend.
Okay.
I feel like I've always kind of, with the people, like I said, the people I've let go, I feel like we've always stayed in touch. We follow each other on social media. Like, we just don't have that every day, or not every day, but like checking in, hanging out all the time. But we check each other's social medias or see, like, I feel like that has always been something in me. I never like to hold grudges on people, even if they did something horrible to me. I still like to say hello to them in the street. If they don't say hi to me, that's on them. But for my own health,
It's good to have.
I like to be okay.
I mean, I sometimes when I see someone that I know, I try to not necessarily say hi just because I'm scared that they're not gonna say hi back. Because I'm like,
smile.
that's kind of
hi.
awkward.
Yeah.
It's like hi, and then like they don't even say anything back.
At least I said hi. Yeah,
Yeah.
si dicen otra cosa, I'm like, oh.
It's like,
But
okay.
that's usually me. Again, it's mainly for my mental mind and heart, because I feel like if I hold a grudge, the person on the other end isn't the one dealing with the consequences. It's me. I'm dealing with the consequences of it in my mind. Like, they did this to me. Like, it's constantly on replay. So when I accept, I'm like, okay, that's what the person did. Cool. It might not have been okay, but let's move on. And I'll wave at you and say hi to you. And if you say hi to me, I'll say hi to you. And if I don't say hi to you, but I smile or do something. But anyways, I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
What could have you done, or is there anything you wish you could have handled differently or done differently?
Okay. I feel like I kind of need to think of this. Something I would have done differently, or would have what?
Or would have handled different? I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Handled or done differently. Oh, okay.
Or what could have been better?
One thing I definitely say is my academic success, I'd say, because I mean, in a way, I'm kind of telling myself it's okay. I've had a rough year in a way. So, but I actually failed one of my classes, and yeah, but it's okay. I'm thinking like it's fine. Like I purposely failed it because I did not go to the final, because I knew I would have either not passed or I would have gone to C. And I was like, I know for a fact I can do way better in that class. I just honestly was not trying in it. So I'm just going to retake it next semester and aim for an A, because I know that I can do that. And I just know that I wasn't pushing myself as best as I could. And also, like, I was focused kind of on like 2 of my other classes rather than that one class that I also should have been like putting the same effort into, but I wasn't. And because I kind of like in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's not as important. Like I kind of because I needed to, there's a class that I needed to pass this semester, and I did pass it, but like I needed to this semester because it's not offered next semester. And next semester is when I'm going to be like done with the program at COM. So like I needed to get it done. If I didn't pass that class, then I would have had to wait an extra year. So that's what I was thinking. And then I'm like, this other class, I know I can do way better. I just wasn't studying at all. But like I understand like most of the concept and everything, and yeah, and I feel like one thing that I realized that's really not talked about in college is that a lot of college students fail a class. And I like started like a lot of my friends that this is like their first year, because this is my second year, but this is like their first year, and a lot of them have told me that they failed a class or a few classes. I know someone who had failed a few classes because she had taken 6 classes, and honestly that's a lot of classes. And I feel like like when you're a freshman in college, you don't realize how much 6 classes in college is compared to 6 classes in high school. It's like totally different. And what was I gonna say? It's like totally different. So having that workload, I once took 6 classes my first semester, and thankfully I passed all of them. I don't even know how, but I passed all of them. So I'm like really glad that I did. And this is the first time that I've ever failed a class. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of feeling bad about it, but it's like, as long as I get that A next semester, I'm going to be fine. But yeah.
It's good that you reflect on it that way, though. And not tearing yourself down, which can be something that we're really good at. It's saying, oh, this and that. But you saw what you can work on, and you're going to work on it. And that's key. And I brought up that question because it's really important to not just set goals for next year, which is what people do, but also to go back and look at where you weren't the best or you weren't the strongest, because then you can work on it and improve on the next year. Often what we do is we look at what we're good at and continue to be good at what we're good at, which is great, but it's also important to go back and look at, oh, I didn't do this good. I didn't do this good, to strengthen those areas.
And it's like, that class is important too, and it's like, I need it for future wise. And it's like, I also like was thinking, I'm like, I don't want to go necessarily like into the nursing field not knowing these things, and it's like, it's something that I need to know, so it's gonna help me a lot either way. And it's like, I shouldn't just like be like, oh, a C is fine, and like I hardly learned anything, so like I rather push myself to be better in that subject. But yeah,
That's good.
And for you?
And for me, I would say communicating, even though this will forever be like a constant thing, but communicating, especially with my family and friends, I think, and even at work, I feel like I learned this year, just being able to say no.
Yeah.
That is something. I'm a person who can say yes because I don't know. I'm happy to help, but doing that has like its pros and cons, because its cons can be a lot of people doing things to you, and it might not be okay with you, but you'd rather hold it. Especially with like friends in work, I feel like with my family, I can be very honest with them. Like, hey, this is how that made me feel, because in my eyes, they have to listen to me. You know, they're my family. But work and friends, I feel like if I tell them that, I feel like I would push those people away. And so I often hold everything in and don't say anything. But this year, I have learned the hard way to really say, this is not okay. Or like standing up for myself in a way, saying, no, that's not okay. Like saying, let's say if you did something, and maybe it's not your intention. I'm not assuming it's your intention, but
I do.
and I go up to you and tell you, hey, like this is how that made me feel. I don't know if it was your intention or not, but that's how it made me feel. And then I'm giving you the opportunity to explain, and then I am giving myself an opportunity to not assume, but to really understand, right? And that happened here at work too. It was a lot of different things where I was like, oh, okay. And I think Javier is really good at his stand, like standing ground. And I'm
Standing on business.
like, he's the type of person, and props to, I've always told them this, like he can really say no. Like, or he can really like defend and say it, and I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, I need to learn a little bit more of that, because for me it's like, okay, and I can let people walk over me, and it's not a great thing, because it's really important for you to communicate and stand up for yourself, because no one else is gonna do it. Like no one else is gonna do it. So, but having the balance of standing up for yourself, but not stepping up on others as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me, I've learned that the hard way this year, and the past few months I've gotten better at it for sure. I can feel the difference. And like I said, that's when you kind of cut people off or say, see things, and I'm really hopeful for that, in the next few months, and seeing how that continues to grow. But communications is always going to be something that you have to have and will need to constantly grow.
Yeah, that is true. Thank you, Santi. And we are going to go into our song now. And it's Soul Purpose by Ismael Lara. So I'm going to play it now.
Yeah. Evolving Wings. Yeah. I'm a genius, original purpose, resurrect like the phoenix. From the mother lotus emerges, no longer feel worthless. To be a service to purpose, it's evolving wings por vida. Got them all like Nita, eternal play in the brain, got me insane. It's been the pain, your seat's pain. My soul wounded, some moves can't be computed. God's great shadows meet the darkest alley. Demons came for me, but archangels parried. Swiss swings to the soulless rapidly. Call it horror meets fantasy. Lower energies move like cavities. Sucker MCs, no substance. Ignore the earth's cries. Sucker MCs, no substance. Don't realize we never die. Misguided by subsidized lies. I'm guided by my ancestors' war cries. Borga floor spitting truth, encouraging your spine. Evolving wings manifesting your divine. Don't give up, fly. Compassionate can't pay my soul purpose. Wings up, wings up, wings up, wings up. Compassionate can't pay my soul purpose. Wings up, wings up, wings up, wings up. Compassionate can't pay my soul purpose. Wings up, wings up, wings up. Compassionate can't.
Hello and welcome back from our little small break. And we have just a few announcements where MCM will be closed from all of next week from the 25th to the 1st, I believe. Yeah. 25th to the 1st, and this is also our last show for 2023. We won't be having a show next week, and we won't be having open mic this month as well, and we will have that back up in January. So stay tuned for open mic night, and we haven't had it for 2-3 months, so it's been a while. And this is also just our last show. Sadly, it's not all of us though, but
We will have a show next week, but it's
a pre-recorded.
But
I mean, it's a rerun.
But we're so excited to end it with the two of us. We're missing Javier though.
Yeah.
Hi Javier from the back.
Let's just add in Javier in a stick figure. Okay. That is all of our announcements for today. And now we're just going to dive right back into what we were talking about. Were you finished or what you were saying?
I was done.
I was like, I wanted to add on, but I'm like, okay I'm going to play the song first.
I mean, take it away.
You were talking about how you have to say no and everything, and I just wanted to add on by saying that I feel like that's a big important thing, especially as like I feel like for me as a teenager, saying no, especially like in a workplace, is like a huge thing, because if you don't and you just continue saying yes, like yeah I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, you're just gonna like overwork yourself. Because at my other job there have been times where they like there's different departments, and then sometimes like I'm not doing anything sometimes, so like I'm happy to like do something because then I'm like doing something, but there are like a bunch of departments that tell me to do things, and then there was one point where I was like yeah I can do it, and then I was like so stressed, I was like running back and forth doing different things, and I felt like because like I'm like literally the youngest person there, and it's like most of the time I'm not doing anything, so then like it was like a week straight that was happening, and then I realized, okay, I need to like tell them like, oh, I can't, like I'm doing this, I could do that like a different day or something. And I feel like as a teenager, when you're going into like a workplace, you tend to say like, oh yes, I can do that. Like another example is like saying yes to picking up extra shifts even though you don't necessarily like need it or like want to, and like you're just doing it just so like your manager's like happy or something. Because I know some of my friends too, they have done that where they only like pick up shifts because like their manager's asking them, so they feel like they have to, and they can't say no. But yeah, just one.
Yeah, that's especially with work. Javier taught me that a lot.
To not
No, he'll say,
you got to keep in mind, it's like I'm not getting paid enough.
literally, and I would say, well, oh, it's fine, and Javier would always say, no, you have to like stand your ground, but not in a way where it's like I don't want to do any kind of work. No, it's just making people aware of your time and what you're willing to do. Anyways, continue.
Oh, that's all I wanted to say for that, is to just like, especially as like teenagers, don't let your workplace especially walk all over you. And especially if they're like not paying you enough, that's like another thing. Like one of my friends, she was not making that much yet. She was doing like a lot of stuff for that business, and it just made no sense. It's like they should be paying you more for like what you're doing, and it's like she would be like, no, it's fine. She'd be like similar. She'd be like, no, it's okay. Like I like the job, and she's like, but yeah, basically, yeah, just learn to stand your ground, and it's like, especially if it's like one of your like what is it called, like no, not a new job. It's like
job?
Your first time job, yeah. Especially if it's like a first time job. Like I feel like don't let it show that it's your first time job. So they don't like. I've like once did that, and it's like it wasn't my first time job, but like I was like, oh, it's like my first time job, and it just kind of like they like kind of knew, so they kind of like put me to work more. But yeah, that was it. And then okay, now we're gonna switch over to our topics as we were talking about. We're kind of more talking about 2023 and like a reflection and everything. Now we're going to switch over to 2024 and what goals we have, what we expect, and what we want to learn, maybe some new things. I feel like for myself, I kind of try to think of like when it comes to New Year's, I kind of try to think of it as it's not a time necessarily for me to start doing something new. Like I shouldn't wait a whole year just to start something new, but like whenever there's something that I need to do that is new or improve on, just start then and there. Does that make sense? Like I try to not think of New Year's as like, oh my gosh, such a big thing, but it's like it is a big thing because it's like, oh, you're starting a new year and everything like that, but I try to think of it as not too much, just so like it doesn't get too wrapped in my head about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And I had a question. I was gonna say, what is the main goal that you are looking forward to completing
in 2024?
Yeah. Do you have a set goal?
Do I what?
Do you have a set goal?
Do I have a set goal? Not necessarily, but oh no, because it's going to make it. If I say it out loud. No, if I say it out loud, like I have to fulfill it.
Do it. You said you got to do it.
Well, like you mentioned this before, and depending on many factors will fall into it. But one is being more independent, meaning moving out.
You got it.
The reason why I say like that's a big thing for me is I live with I pay rent with my family and stuff. Like I help with food and stuff. However, I'm really close to my family. Like I have a little brother. And that separation for me is like I feel like he's not my kid, but he feels like my kid. And so me leaving like that really scares me in the way of I don't know. It gives me like a little bit of nerve. Like I'm really close with my mom, even though we sometimes argue like normal. But like my mom's like my best friend too. You know, she will braid my hair, we cook together, we go out together, so she's like my whole thing, and my dad and my siblings. So moving out is something that it's been in the back of my head, and I really want to do it because I want to be more independent, and I feel like right now I don't necessarily have that independence, meaning, for example, like I want to know how I want to decorate the kitchen or the like my space, my room and stuff, and I feel like because I'm under my parents' roof, there's a lot of things that I stay home. I don't go out or stuff like that. I feel like if I'm on my own, maybe I'll push myself more because I would need to be, out there. That's something that I am looking forward towards, like the end of 2024, to move out and have my own space, whether with roommates or who knows. But that's something that I'm really looking forward to, and also grow our family businesses. That's something that I hope for to continue to grow and expand, and the work here at MCM. Like hopefully, hopefully. There's a lot of things floating around in the air. Hope that they do come true so that we can continue to expand the work that we do with MCM. It's kind of like my What about you?
I hope to expand also with Tay and everything. I hope to like continue to do this for as long as I can.
It's really fun. And since you brought up the topic of Tay, is like for me, Tay has been such a growing space because one, it doesn't feel so much like work.
Yeah,
It
that is
feels
true.
like a learning space. Yes, there's the technical side of being behind cameras, doing the reaching out to guests, but it pushes me in a way where I have to reach out to people. And when we sit with guests, which we don't have one today, but they say or share things about what they've been through that I reflect on. And I think this is the power of our stories. They can help other people. They can show them things that you might never think of. And so Tay has been such an amazing thing. And the fact that this is our last show for 2023, like, recorded show, I'm like, wow, Tay has grown so much this year too. With like we had Annalie leave. That was a big one. We had you come on board, but
And
also
then this was also the year that we got the new studio.
was it?
Yeah.
Javier?
No,
Not yes.
not last year. Sorry. I'm like this. Sorry. Never mind.
But
Scratch
I
that.
think it's where we felt more solid.
Yeah.
I think I would say
I was like, wait.
I just doesn't feel like it. No, I'm totally with you because it just doesn't feel like it's time flew. But it like we had the career fair. That's the first thing. Well, at least under this Tay
Like
team
Tay, yeah.
that really did something and put together. And I'm really proud of that. It came from someone from Tay. Like Annalie planted the seed, and we kind of builded upon it. And
And we got to continue.
yeah,
going
and
next year.
it's gonna be a continuer because there is gonna be one next year. But it's something that I'm so proud of that we've been able to do with Tay. I feel like this year it grew a lot. Oh, we also had the opportunity with Javier to interview Eugenio Derbez.
I'm so sorry.
And like, and you did a lot of interviews too with a lot of different directors, writers, actors, and that's a huge thing. Like Tay has been slowly putting seeds in different areas and showing up, and that's a huge thing. Like, really think about it. A group of people that are under 25 years old, from like a couple years slowly building it and kind of expanding, and props to Javier too, because he's been doing the connecting parts. So really a huge yes for 2023 with Tay, for sure.
Yeah, we've like all been here. I've been here like the least amount of time. But we've all been here like around the similar time, and I've seen like us grow like a whole bunch, and I just love seeing our progress, and I love seeing my progress as a host as well. And I feel like, as you said, like, it's not like a job. I always, when people ask me like, oh, I like say like, oh, this is my job, and I'm always like, it's not like a job though. Like, it's like I love like doing this, and it's just like, I would say, I don't know what's a better word to put it as, but it doesn't feel like a job just because like I love it so much that it's not like, I feel like a job or like, I think just as a teenager, it's like a job right now. It's just like, I have to go to work. But like, this is like totally different. And as you said, like, this has helped me with like my communication skills, like being able to like start conversations, ask people about certain things and stuff like that. And I feel like another huge thing for Tay was this year I noticed that we had a very good continuing cycle of guests. That was like a huge thing. Like the past few months we've had like guests like kind of constantly and like every week, and there was like probably like a few weeks that like we didn't have guests, but like for the most part I feel like this year is like when we've had like the most guests
and we've
on
had
our
some
show.
Pretty interesting. I mean, let's kind of reflect on that actually. Kind of the boundaries that we broke with Tay. One of them being it is, for example, we didn't meet with Javier last year. What's his name? The director of Pinocchio.
Oh yes. I was not there.
Blanking. I'm blanking. What's his name?
I don't know his last
famous
name.
director, but we did that last year too.
Guillermo.
Guillermo del
Guillermo.
Toro. Guillermo del Toro. We did that, but also when we went to these events with Tay, we were one of the very few young people there. And also the demographic of where demographics and the diversity of where we were very few. And that is boundaries out of our comfort zone, I would say, because at times it felt a bit strange because you're going into a different environment, and instead of blending in, how do you stand out and be yourself? And that's something that Tay definitely had to do this year. And I'm so proud of that. It really, it just, like, how do I say this? Like, we interviewed Eugenio Derbez, and that was a huge deal for Tay. But also understanding, like, don't put people up here. They're just people. Yeah. And then when you have that mindset, you break your comfort zone.
That is true.
Yeah, and so that was an amazing opportunity. And also, like, the career fair. Like, that was put together by
It's like a huge
four
thing.
of us with the help of other people.
Yeah.
But
That's something we've never done either.
yeah, and it was a great success. So those are boundaries that we kind of broke. That maybe the boundaries were just, I don't know, but we broke a lot of things, and that's a huge thing for us.
Yeah, and I'm excited for next year for us because I feel like we're just gonna keep going up.
We definitely will, especially with if we grow this much in 2023, Tay will grow so much more in 2024. But what were some of your, like, memorable guests that we've had? We're not choosing favorites, guys. We're just, like, remembering what are, like, the most memorable ones that we've had.
I'd say recently, I would say, damn it, I'm like blinking a little bit on their name. Bing and Robert.
Robin.
Robin.
Really?
Bing and Robin. Just because, like, the way Bing was talking about everything, and it was just really interesting. He was, like, one of our only guests that really, like, was out of his comfort, or maybe it wasn't, like, out of his comfort zone, but one of our guests that
conversational.
Conversational. And I was like, wow. And I was like, I hardly talked to him. But, like, it was really interesting knowing what he was talking about, like, the way their body works during when they wrestle. And, like, a lot of those things, like, I didn't know. Like, I thought wrestling, like, as they mentioned, like, wrestling is, like, a deeper concept than, like, what we think it is. And, like, I just didn't know that about things. And then it's, like, it just made me think, like, that's probably, like, for a lot of sports, but, like, you just don't really see that. And it's, like, I've never necessarily been, like, an athlete like that, so I would not know either. But it was just very interesting the way he was, like, describing everything, like nutrients and everything, because that's just, like, fascinating to me. But yeah. And for you?
There's so many. There's definitely a lot, but I want to just highlight, like, the amazing guests we've had. Ismael Lara, who Evolving Wings, we had him last week. Miguel and Devin. And we just had such incredible guests this year. Now that I'm thinking about it,
So many.
with very diverse backgrounds.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, one is sport, one is, like, professional.
I know. It's so different.
Which is absolutely amazing. And, like, the studio itself has grown so much with, like, producing music and bringing in that. We had, like, the Aria Agresiva group who we interviewed here, but, you know, Javier has done, you know, behind the scenes recording music with other artists.
So it's like, this is more than Tay. It's like,
I mean, no,
because we're bringing in, like, different things and everything.
yeah, it's bringing in like a whole
Community
of artists and giving them a space. So that's definitely, I'm like, I don't even know. Like, those were the top ones that came into my head, but even the oh my God, Solito, the author of Solito, was here, and his interview was really rich and deep and into about like first generation and immigration like stories and stuff. That was a huge one. We've had just such incredible guests, and I know we're kind of towards the end of the show, and I just want to say thank you so much to all of our guests who came and allowed and gave us their time to learn. I feel like I learned so much from them, and they like left small and bits and pieces of things that I've used during this year as well, or things that I've kept in the back of my head because of their stories. And that's what Tay really is about, to share stories and give people a place to share what they're doing, whether it's in the professional world or medical or music. There's just different things that are out there, and nothing is better than the other. It's just a space that we all share. Yeah,
that is true. I feel like we had one guest, and he was your friend.
Oh my God.
Because I was just thinking of like something that I took from a guest that I applied to now.
Oh, that's a good thing.
The finance show. Ullman, yes. Yeah. Okay. One thing that I apply to like now since that show because of him is the 50-20-30 method.
Oh, yeah.
Or 50-30-20 method. Yeah. So I use that now, and it helps me because then now I have like a savings account. So then I put 20% in my savings and everything.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah,
like I split it like that.
To all of our guests, like I said, thank you. That's a good thing. That you took something. What did I take?
You're like, what
did I take?
That's what I took. That's what I love about Tay. It's like every time we just have someone new, and it's like I'm learning something new, especially when we have someone from a different culture. I just get to learn their culture and just have that knowledge and understanding. Yeah.
I would say, reflecting on what you just said, the main thing I got from each individual guest is to do what you are curious or passionate about, to do it. Because if you do it and pursue it for whether it's a long period of time or a short period of time, you will know if it's something you want to continue. And every artist we've had or every professional person we've had, they said, I just went into it. And that is something that if we stay with the I don't know if it's gonna work out or maybe not, stuff like that, we will never know. So to anyone who's out there and listening, have something in mind, just go for it. Whether it works out or not, but at least you've answered the question of what if, right? You don't want to have those what ifs later on in the future. Just do it. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. It's not, don't hold yourself accountable for that. Just continue and pursue different things until you find something that you like.
That is true. And especially with this upcoming year, a lot of people do like New Year's resolutions where they write things down. I feel like one thing I want to do is for like this year, to be honest, is like a vision board and have it like on my wall. Do you know what that is, a vision board?
Yes, I have a few.
Oh, you do? Oh, really? I wanted to start one because I'm like, maybe like if I do that and I put like all my actual goals on it, I would start really like trying to do it, because then I'm gonna be seeing it every day like on my wall and be like, oh yeah, that's
it's just a reminder.
Yeah, basically.
I really suggest that because it's a way where your mind can kind of connect what you're envisioning, and your mind will choose actions that will get you close to that. I highly suggest that, and having it a place visible.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. And then just make sure to be having this year open-minded and just I want to be like really open to a lot of new things this year. And I'm really hoping to possibly go somewhere also in the summer. Not sure where yet, but somewhere. Somewhere. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we end our show?
Just have a good end of the year, and also take this time to reflect and set yourself for next year, even though you can do that any time of the year. But since a lot of people have time off work, off school, take this time to really look at what you want and then put it in a dream board, write it down, and And yeah, if you have a goal or dream in mind, just start with one step, whether it's researching, whether it's taking a class or looking a video online, just really dive into it. And then don't stay with the curiosity of what could happen. Do it. And then you'll see the answer. Was it good or not? But you did it. And that would be my biggest takeaway from all of our guests that were here on the show with 2023. And thank you all for tuning in. Really, without you, Tay wouldn't be here.
Yes. Thank you guys, and happy holidays. And we'll see you guys next year.